your instructions. In general, you just need to follow the PowerPoint. On some of the slides, there are instructions for you in the yellow boxes. Please make sure the sound is turned up on your device so you can hear the narration. And remember, if a slide asks for homework, don't forget to send it in via Show My Homework. And if a slide asks for Educate to be completed, don't forget to do it by the date given. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe what we mean by the term specific latent heat, and you should be able to explain the difference between the specific latent heat of fusion and vaporization. This is our starter activity. It's a little bit of revision. The shape of this graph should be familiar to you by now, and your task is to draw the graph and add all of these labels: solid, liquid, gas, melting, boiling, boiling point, melting point. Draw the graph and add them in the relevant places. Now you can check your work using the information on this slide. Make sure you've got all the labels in the right places. These are the key points that the graph gives us. When we heat a substance, we're increasing the temperature because we're increasing the energy of the particles. When a substance changes state, for example, it melts from solid to liquid, the temperature stops increasing and stays constant. Now, this is because the energy we are putting in is being used to break the forces of attraction between the particles. This is called latent heat. This is our formal definition of specific latent heat. The specific latent heat of a substance is the amount of energy required to change the state of 1 kilogram of the substance with no change in temperature. Now that is one that we do have to learn off by heart. Now, because there's more than one kind of state change, there's more than one kind of specific latent heat. So let's do this one first. If we have a big block of ice with a mass of 1 kilogram, scientists have calculated that it takes 334,000 joules of energy to melt it, so that is to change it from solid to liquid. Now that energy is called the specific latent heat of fusion. This is our formal definition of specific latent heat of fusion. The specific latent heat of fusion of a substance is the energy required to change 1 kilogram of the substance from solid to liquid with no change in temperature. And that is a definition that we need to learn off by heart. Let's move on to a different kind of specific heat. Imagine we have 1 kilogram of liquid water this time. Scientists have calculated that it takes 2,258,000 joules of energy to turn it into steam. Now you notice that this is much more energy than it required to change the same mass from solid to liquid. Now this specific heat is called the specific latent heat of fusion. This is our formal definition of the specific latent heat of vaporization, and again it's something we need to know. The specific latent heat of vaporization of a substance is the energy required to change 1 kilogram of a substance from liquid to vapor with no change in temperature. Follow the link below to watch a video about specific latent heat. Don't worry too much about the calculations at the end because we're going to go through that in the next lesson. The final task for this lesson is to take a picture of the work from this lesson, including all of your key definitions, and send it via Show My Homework to Mr. Rahman by the 22nd of May.